What is good, guys? It's Monster Chappie. We're here today to share with you guys how to build an offensive scheme in Madden 25 and some of the things you want to do to really create an effective offensive scheme. Now, first, let's say, do you want to play under center, do you want to play in the pistol, or do you want to play in the shotgun? Now, generally speaking, I would say the shotgun and the pistol are better than under center because you have a little bit more time in the pocket in case they bring pressure, in case there's a block shed or something like that. Again, the benefit of under center is you can make those really quick passes right after you hike the ball, but there's not too many plays this year outside of when you're right in that goal line area that's going to be super effective for. So generally speaking, I say the pistol and the gun are better, but the additional reason on top of that, and the main reason those formations are better, is due to the run plays. And you would be surprised to find out that the runs in the shotgun and in the pistol formations are much better on an average basis than under center. Now, there is a few good runs under center, no doubt about it. Right now, we're in the Saints playbook, so we know we're going to get to everybody's favorite run, the Saints halfback power. But before we get to that, there's a few other good runs that I really do like under center, and one of those is the halfback zones, halfback zone weak, either way. Both runs are, really good. Definitely a fan of the zones. They just hold their blocks really well, and you can pick up some pretty consistent yardage. So the whole idea to building a good offense in Madden 25 is either building around the run game or having a really good run play out of your passing set. And that's consistent for everybody that I've seen play, myself included. Guys that passed the ball all last year, guys that ran the ball last year. Everybody, something, you have a run play somewhere, one way or another, an effective run play that your opponent has to respect, one that they have to adapt to, maybe one that they even have to run commit and completely sell out to. But either way, you definitely want to have a good run play as a part of your scheme. Whether you want to pass all the time, you still need that run play. And that's definitely one of those runs right there that you can use. The halfback dives can be decent if they're spread out, but for the most part, those are only going to get you a few yards, but definitely something that can still be effective in a short yardage game. The inside zone, I do like that run as well as the fullback dive. Again, the fullback dive is going to be something you want to run if they spread their defense out more so, but it's still definitely a good run. It could get you a few yards here and there. Not something you're going to want to run as the base of your scheme or as your money run play. But again, it's definitely something that your opponent's going to have to respect. But again, these inside zones, these runs, I like them because they just block. They block the guy in front of them. And this is going to work on Gen 3 and Gen 4. We're on Gen 4 PS4 right now. But the blocking is even better on Gen 3. They just hold their blocks even more so. So, if it works on Gen 4, it's definitely going to work on Gen 3 even better. The running is just a little bit overpowered. Well, I won't even say a little bit overpowered, but it's definitely overpowered in this year's game. So you have to take advantage of that. Now, this right here is the Saints power, halfback power. This run was made popular by Lockdown super early this year, the first tournament. And pretty much everybody's been running it a little bit here and there ever since then. Definitely a top 3 run in the game. Some people could argue the best run, and that can easily be a good argument. I definitely unquestionably have it as a top 3 run in the game. But the blocking on this run play is just absolutely phenomenal. And all you really have to do is go to whatever side's the weak side. So if they got more guys on the right, you can just flip it back to the left, and you're good to go. As I'm making it look bad right here, but definitely a run you could literally build your scheme out of and get some really big plays. And it's one of those runs that you have to sell out to actually stop. You're not going to just be able to run your base defense for the most part. You are going to have to make some adjustments. And it's a very difficult run to stop because if you're a patient person and you don't mind not getting the big play every time, this is a run where you can easily get 5 yards and you can easily get big plays. But usually you're going to get at least 5 yards running this play. And it's definitely one that you can build your scheme out of again. And it's just a really effective run play. So for under center runs, those are the runs I think that are going to give you the most success, and definitely going to help you out a bunch. Also, the strong close has a decent run here. The off tackle out of the strong close is actually a really good run as well. Again, there's a lot of good runs in this year's game because the run is overpowered. But if you're going to run the ball, I would recommend running one of the plays I just gave you. There may be a couple other ones that I'm missing. And if you guys know any really good ones from under center that work for you, feel free to share that in the comments below. But those are the good runs for under center. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the shotgun here and the pistol and showcase some of those runs. There's a few of them that the Saints do have in their book that I like the quick base or the halfback off base, just depending upon which one it is for the formation you're using. There's also the you also have the zone runs out of the gun. I'm not a fan of the draw this year, but the halfback bases definitely are runs you have to worry about, as well as the halfback zones. Let's see if we can find one here. We got the base. Let's see. There goes one. We got a halfback zone here. So we'll showcase these runs a few times. And again, the thing about it is shotgun, these are generally passing formations, and now they really have to worry about these runs, and they actually have to sell out to some of these runs. Some of these runs are really effective. Depending upon which formation you run the zone out of, it's, one of the better run plays in the game without a doubt about it. I forget the exact formation, but I want to say like it's a shotgun ace or ace tight or something like that. Shotgun ace, I really want to say that's the formation where it kind of is like a single back look. As far as how the formation looks, it's just a shotgun set. That formation there, if you run this zone out of, it's it's a devastating run play and one you're really going to have to commit your defense to in order to stop. As far as the other runs go, you have the halfback bases, and these runs here are really nice this year as well. You can get like 5 yards apiece with these, and definitely just very consistent run play. You just got to pick the right hole, and you're easily going to be able to pick up a good amount of yardage. You can take it inside or outside, just depending upon where the defense is at. And this is against the Niners, man. They're going to get a lot of block sheds, those types of things. But when they don't get those block sheds, as you can see, you can really just – and even when they do get block sheds, if you pick the right spot, we're getting 5 yards of carry, and there is the potential for a bigger play. You're not going to probably bust 1 yard or one play touchdowns out of this, but you can see 5 to 10 yards pretty consistently from those halfback plays. So any run play where you're going to get 5+ yards is going to be a phenomenal run because you're going to be able to manage the clock and do those types of things. But either way, definitely runs that you can build your scheme out of right there. And now we're going to go into why I think the guns and the pistols are a little bit better, more consistently to run your scheme out of, or sort of a part 2 of that. So right here, we'll just use a different playbook. We're going to switch it up, we'll just go into San Fran here playbook. They got a lot of good run plays in there as well. But the other thing with it is, and what the whole point of this video is that running an offensive scheme is not hard this year. Again, you either want to just have one of these good run plays that I'm giving you here now, or a different run play that works successfully for you, that your opponent has to respect, that you're going to get 5+ yards, especially if they're not run committing, if they're not, setting up their defense to stop the run. You really want to have one of these run plays that you're using. So if you want to run under center, you're going to want to use one of those run plays. And if you are going to do under center, I would recommend using the Saints playbook and using that run. But one thing I would say is that the pistol has a run that none of the other formations have, and that's the strong power. And in my opinion, that's the best run in the game. But it's unarguably a top 3 run. Again, you could argue the Saints power and a couple other runs in the game, no doubt about it. But the thing with the pistol is you have the halfback dive, which is a decent run. But the strong power is the big boy out of the bunch. And then you also have the read options. And I think there's a few formations where you may have a QB wrap. Also, you have the halfback stretch plates, which are pretty solid out of the pistol as well. And you still have those halfback zone plays. So let's start with this halfback zone. We'll just go random play here. The halfback zones are a little bit slower developing in pistol, but it still kind of gives you like a read option. Look, I wouldn't even count this play. It's like a goal line. So we'll just dive out of bounds here. But the thing about it is, and the whole principle behind running in the Madden 25 is really just keeping your opponent honest. And even more so than keeping them honest is making them stop the run. Because the run being as overpowered as it is, it's one of those things where they're going to have to commit to it. They're going to have to stop it. And if they don't, you can just keep running the ball. There's not too many fumbles. There are going to be some fumbles if you play against the Niners and Seahawks. But most likely you're going to be using the Niners and Seahawks because those are the best two teams on the game. And Lynch and Gore have some pretty good carry attributes as well. And, it's definitely something that is going to be effective regardless if you're using whatever team. But if you're using those two teams in particular, their offensive line is phenomenal. Even though the blocking is already great, the fact that their offensive line is great is just makes it that much better. One thing, whenever you're running the ball, don't use turbo too much. Wait for your blocks to set up, and you're going to be good to go. But as you can see here, man, this power, strong power, man, you're just getting absolutely beastie results from that play. Probably could have separated this into a two-part video, but decided not to do that. Let's see here. We got the halfback dive. Just go random play again. And this is more so when your opponent's trying to send edge heat, or they're spread out, or they're in max coverage defense. You can just go ahead and hit them with a quick dive here. And in that case, man, you're going to be able to pick up some solid yards, man. The dive is a really solid run this year because it doesn't give you the big plays like some of the other runs, like the strong power or the Saints power. But when they're spread out, when they got guys, way on the outside, if they're playing their safeties deeper, this and that, this is a really solid run. You can pick up five yards. You can pick up 10 yards, just depending upon how spread out their defense is. Now, one thing that can happen with these dives is that they block shed from the defense of line, in which case you can, get hit in the backfield from the pistol. But for the most part, it's definitely a solid run to mix in. Definitely not one I would build the scheme off of. But as you can see here, it's definitely a run that you can mix in. This is what I call a mix-in run. So the difference between a mix-in run and a base run, to me, a base run would be the strong power or the Saints power. Or if you go to shotgun, there's another run we got here, which is a crazy overpowered run, probably another one of the top 3 runs in the game, is the buck sweep or the buck sweep read option. Either way, the run works just crazy, crazy good. So those are the runs I like out of pistol. Now, as far as the shotgun runs go, the base run is the buck sweep. And there's a couple other runs out of the shotgun that are really lovely, like those zone runs. You can actually run that halfback zone out of certain formations as your base run. But as you can see here, man, this buck sweep, just the blocking on it, you can get really, really big plays, just phenomenal yards, just because of how good the blocking is. And you can find this. It's not in a lot of formations, but in the formations you do find it in, it's a run your opponent's going to have to commit to stop. They're going to have to really sell out to try to stop this run. It's very overpowered on the right side of the field in particular. So, the read option aspect of it isn't as good. But just because of how the block's set up, your opponent, you may have a formation where you have 2 or 3 guys on the left side of the field and your run goes to the right, and just the way the blocking sets up, your opponent natural tendency is going to have a few guys overload on the left because you have more blockers over there. But with this run in particular, it just redefines that, because you really have to commit to the weak side of the field, or you have to commit to that side opposite of the halfback. And that right there is one reason that the shotgun runs are really effective, because if you got to worry about the buck sweep, that's going to be a major pain in your behind. Now, this next one I'm going to talk about is actually banned in tournaments now because of how overpowered it is, but that is the QB wrap. I'm not sure. I got to see if I can find a formation, but you also have the read option. We'll run that real quick here. And this run can actually be really nice because it actually works towards the halfback really well. Right there, we should have kept it, but Right here, I just want to showcase that if you do hand it off to him, you can actually get some really solid yards. That's the goal line. Doesn't really mean much. But you can get some really positive yards as we're getting crushed because they keep committing to the halfback here. There we go. Now they finally didn't commit. But you could get like 5 yards a pop, usually when you hand it off to the halfback. Sometimes more than that. Really just depends. But the read option this year, what's different than last year. Last year, the QB aspect of it was completely overpowered because your guys always got sucked in. But this year, even unless they have a good read option D, and there is good defenses to stop the read option, it's definitely something that can keep your opponent honest. Just make sure you hand it off when they don't commit to the QB, and then when they do commit to that halfback, you can go ahead and get it to your QB and just bust it outside. And also when that happens, make sure you slide. You can always slide with the read options and things, and just avoid those big hits, which is another benefit of the read options and the QB wraps this year, is that you can slide with your QB. So that's another reason the shotgun runs are really nice, because you have to worry about the buck sweep, you have to worry about the read option, you have to worry about the zone, halfback zone, and you also have to worry about the QB wrap, which I'm not seeing here, so we may have to switch playbooks again. Another run that's decent, actually, is these halfback counters. If you guys remember those from last year, I used to run this formation. This was from the Just Read scheme. But the halfback counters, again, are really hit or miss run. You have really big play potential, but you also have the potential to get hit in the backfield. Now, I don't want to have my base run as one that I get hit in the backfield consistently. So this is one of those mix-in runs, as well as the read option. The read option is a mix-in run. That's not a base run. But the halfback zone and the QB wrap and the buck sweep are definitely all three base runs. So our base runs so far are going to be the Saints power, the zone runs, as well as the strong power, the buck sweep, the QB wrap, and buck sweep, QB wrap, and the zones out of the gun as well. So those are going to be the run plays that are really going to be able to tear up your opponent, and you want to have one of those run plays optional to you. So as I was saying, the reason why, again, we prefer possibly a shotgun run or a pistol run is because you just seem to have a few more of those runs on a consistent basis, where as under center, you pretty much have the Saints power, which again, can't go wrong with that. But at the same time, that run, everybody's seen it, everybody knows it. Doesn't mean they're going to stop it. You know, that's one of those runs, even if you know it's coming, you could still have some success with it. But, you know, out of the other formations, you have some better passing options, and you have more options to pass. That's why you see a lot of people running the pistol trips or the gun trips on the left. A lot of trips formations with the three guys lined up on the left side of the field. And I know this video is quite a bit longer, and I've seemed to be just talking about runs throughout the whole thing. But really, the ease of offense is made through the run game this year. Some years it's made through a screen. Some years it's made through a shift screen, makeshift screen like last year. Some years it's the read option like last year. Some years it's really quick passes, motion hikes like Madden 11. Some years it's pass lead streaks, pass leaded wheel routes and things like that, and that's Madden 13. So it just really varies each year. But here goes the inside run out of the gun trip offset. And this run right here, inside zone, is one of those runs where it can be a base run because it's so effective. You can have so much success with it. Didn't have big play there, but this is one of those runs, especially on Gen 3 when they hold the blocks so well. But this is one of those runs, again, that you can make as the base run of your scheme. And one of the reasons you can make it as the base run of your scheme is because the passing out of these gun trips formations is just so nice that you can do a lot of good things there. So right here, we should probably wait it till they stop motioning or shifting or whatever was going on there. But just to showcase that these zone runs are pretty solid, man. You can usually expect to get 5+ yards. When you're playing a user, especially if they base align, you definitely are going to expect at least 5 yards here. And the nice thing about this run, you can take it inside or outside and, just have a lot of success. Again, we're going up against the Niners and the CPU. CPU tends to block shed a lot and cheat in practice mode. and that's okay. But I can assure you that when you actually play in a game online or in a game head-to-head, that run's going to have a whole lot of success. So we got the QB options, we got the counters, talked about those. Now this play here is the QB wrap. It got banned in tournaments, and the reason why is just because it sucks in so many defenders get sucked into the fake for some reason. Like there's 3 or 4 guys that all get sucked into it, and you get just super crazy blocking. Now there is times that it's going to get stopped, for a short gain, but if you run it 3 times straight or something like that, the chances of you getting stopped all 3 times are really not good. One of those times you're usually going to bust it for a pretty solid big run play. And again, you can still slide with the QB wrap. So although this is banned in tournaments, if you're playing on VG, if you're playing on, just ranked matches or MUT games or whatever the case may be, this is definitely one of those runs that you can add to the arsenal and do a whole lot of damage with. They definitely got to do something about this run in the coming up years. They may take it out of the game. They may patch it or something to make the blocking less effective. Not sure. But either way, this run is, as you can see, there's a reason it got banned at tournaments this year. So, but that's pretty much going to wrap it up, guys. I don't want to continue on this video because we've already hit 20 minutes. And I just really broke down the run aspect of building your offense. So I will leave in the description the names of the plays, which I would call base runs. And again, those are the runs you can build your scheme out of, or those are the runs that can be your main run play. And you only really need that one run play to complement your passing plays, or they can be that one run play that your opponent has to sell out to stop. It's not one of those plays that they can stop pretty much out of their base scheme pretty easily, as in some of the other runs. Now, there are some mix-in runs that we talked about as well, and those are good run plays. Those are good run plays. Not amazing, but those are good run plays that you can mix in here and there, like a halfback dive, a fullback dive, a read option, those types of runs. Not the ones, those are runs that are stoppable out of someone's base scheme, but if you catch them slipping or something like that, or you can hit them with it a few times a game, those runs can actually bring you a whole lot of success. And then there's the other runs in the game that I don't really use because they don't work that well, like the halfback draw. You may have success with once in a while. And if you do, good for you. But me, I'm not taking that risk. I'm not a fan of like the halfback draw. There's a few other runs that are like that as well. Just not a fan of it. Can showcase it here. The blocking isn't as good, as you can see. It's slow developing, and a lot of the other runs in the game are like this. There's the halfback power, which, not the same as the Saints power. It's a completely different run play because the pulling guard is on the opposite side of the field. Pretty much any power play where the guard pulls on the same side the run is going towards is going to be a good run play. But any run play that's called like just regular halfback power or something like that, or Power O, the Power O's, those run plays are not that good this year because of how the blocking develops. Now, the halfback stretch is a play I didn't talk about, but this is actually a really good mix-in run play out of the under centers as well as the inside zone. I think we talked about that already. But the halfback stretch, because of how they block, is actually a really nice mix-in run. Again, not a base run in my opinion. It could be, potentially. It's kind of one of those borderline runs that's borderline a mix-in play and a borderline base play. But at the end of the day, I would still leave it as one of the better mix-in plays. I would just say that about the run, because with the decent block shed or something like that, you can get hit in the backfield. But for the most part, man, you are going to get some pretty solid gains with this run, but nothing spectacular to the point where I would make it a base run. And already we've started talking about more runs, so let me go ahead and stop. Oh man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. This is part 1 of building an offensive scheme in Madden 25, and the whole point of this video is get one of these run plays involved in your offensive scheme if you don't have it involved already, and run it more often than you already do. If you're not running it pretty consistently already, because the run game is pretty much the key to success. This is what they installed in the game. You know, they installed all the new run moves, the run features, the run blocking, all those various things. And the run game is dominant, is overpowered, is the strength of offense for most people in Madden 25. Now, there is some good passing stuff, but we'll get to that in a moment in our next video. But for right now, guys, the run is where it's at. Simple video, but definitely one that not everybody know and is aware of. And most of you guys probably know most of these runs at this point in the year. But hopefully this helps some of you guys out, and hopefully you know, it will help make your offense even more unstoppable and more consistent. But that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and leave a like if you did. And be sure to subscribe for more, man. We're going to have a lot more Madden, a lot more 2K, and a lot more Battlefield. We're going to have tips for them. We're going to have some solid gameplay, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun with it. So that's going to wrap it up for the 15th time. It's Monster Chappie. We gone.